Thank you for joining us. And then I know it's a good event. I know it's not a good chance to in a short presentation, but in front of the food, maybe intriguing your hunger. So I will make a very quick and brief presentation about what is Korea and what's the business opportunity between New Zealand and Korea. So yeah, can you? So. I start with this song that maybe everybody know this melody. Yeah, I'm sure everybody knows this melody, but you cannot understand what the meaning is because it's a Korean song also, which is called Yeonga. Actually, I knew this is a Korean song because I heard this song since when I was young. But when I come here, I found this is a New Zealand Maori traditional song, Pokari Karia. And I learned that this song brought by New Zealand soldiers who were in Korean War 65 years ago. And the monument in the left side is the war memorial for New Zealand soldiers who died for the Korean War. And the right one is in Auckland. And this song and this monument shows that how important the Korea and New Zealand and how important we share the long history and how important our relationship should be in the future. So this is kind of a symbolic moment. So when I make this presentation, I found an interesting clip 65 years ago how Kiwi helped Korea.
Since early in the war, the trucks of the New Zealand Army Service Corps have been a familiar sight on the roads of Korea. Wherever battle has carried them, Kiwi guns have gone too. A New Zealand observation officer with an Australian patrol directs the fire of the guns supporting them. When he sends word back to let up for a while, even gunners welcome a break. And they deserve it. In just over a year, they've fired over 250,000 rounds and earned a great name for dependability and straight shooting. There still has to be a haka no matter where the football is played. But even when the guns aren't firing, the work's still going on. Every hour of 24, there are Kiwis working somewhere in Korea. Clothes get an extra scrub when leaving Tokyo falls due. It's a chance of a lifetime to see the third city of the world, and the boys make the most of it. But the contrast between this fine city and the silent ruins of Korea is too strong to be ignored. They remember the shattered buildings and the refugees who live in caves. When the time comes to go back, they know the importance of the job on hand. When their job is finally done, these men and those yet to replace them will be proud to have been Kiwis in Korea.
Yes, so it's amazing that even during the war, they play rugby with they show the warlike spirit. So as you see in the videos clip that Korea was devastated by the war in 65 years ago. But thanks for New Zealand and other allies of Korea, we help a lot from the allies country, and we become the we achieve the rapid growth, economic growth, and then finally we become the 7th trade partner of New Zealand. So I want to show that how the Korea has become now.
Moving together with the world towards the future. Open-minded and filled with enthusiasm. With several of East Asia. Making its mark on history with culture and technological creativity. Contributing to the international community. Sharing joy with the world and working towards a peaceful and harmonious future. Serving as a bridge connecting people around the world. Take another look at Korea. A new era of hope, a new wave of the future. Overcoming historic hardships to become a prosperous country. The Korean War left the nation devastated and dependent on international aid. But within only a few decades, Korea has risen out of the ashes of war to become the miracle on the Han River. This miracle is Korea's explosive economic growth, founded on strong national willpower, hard work, unity, and skill, which have long been a part of Korean culture. Korea has embraced new ideas and cultures with open arms and has created its own new culture. Korean products, technology, and culture have captured the imagination of many around the world. Today, Koreans want to share their economic development strategy with other countries to make a greater contribution to the global community. Dynamic and passionate. Affectionate and humane. Free and unique. Harmonious and peaceful. Creative and technologically innovative. Korea stands with the future. That's Korean style.
I'm sure you remember the Gangnam Style 2 or 3 years ago. Yes. Very much. So I want to go a little bit of Korea. We have a small country. It's almost 1/3 of the New Zealand island. So, but we have 11 times more population. So you can imagine how density. Our GDP is 1 trillion, but you know that we have so many population. That's why our per capita GDP is a little less than New Zealand. But we also our own business is a trade, but the main business is trading. That's why we our trading volume surfaced $1.1 trillion last year, and you can see that Korea last year the most country who working the most hour, more than 2,100 hours per year. So it's a little bit 20% work more than New Zealand is, and our minimum wage a little much less than New Zealand. So this is a little about Korea. And how about between New Zealand and Korea? In 2014, we export to New Zealand 1.7 billion, and we import from New Zealand 1.5 billion. And the investment since 1962 is the accumulated amount. It's 500 billion we invest in New Zealand. So only small Kiwi business invested in Korea, only 70 million for more than 50 years. And last year, more than 55,000 people visited the beautiful country, New Zealand, and 30,000 New Zealanders visit Korea. This is a brief exchange. And so what is the main product between Korea and New Zealand? So if you go to jet station, then you can smell Korean oil. And so the oil is the most, the big portion of our export to New Zealand. And of course, the Hyundai and Kia, other plastic and heavy machinery. Of course, the import import from New Zealand to Korea, we also import a lot of timbers and kiwis, of course, dairy. So I pretty much enjoy the Tip Top, the New Zealand ice cream. It's high quality, much cheaper than Korea, so I really enjoy that one. of course, our best export to New Zealand is Lydia Ko, and she's the number one, and she's New Zealander, so I think this is a symbol of our cooperation. And this year is very significant for both countries because we finally signed FTA between two countries in early March after 60-year negotiations from 2009. And New Zealand National Assembly already ratified last September. And it was our turn, but it was delayed. But finally, this week, Monday, our National Assembly ratified the New Zealand-Korea FTA, and it will be, we expect, effective within this year. So I think we can have a big applause for this. So New Zealand exporters now pay more than 200 million duties to Korea, but it will be saved next year alone, 60 million. So it's a huge saving for New Zealand business. And the main winners will be wine. The duty will be eliminated immediately, and beef, tree fruit, and dairy product will be the winner of this FTA agreement. So this was a little brief of the relationship, and I want to talk about what is the business opportunity in two countries. But before I go, as a trade commissioner, I meet many businessmen between Korea and New Zealand, and sometimes I encountered some cultural gaps or the stereotypes between two countries, which is kind of big area to make a successful business in each country. So I want to share with you today to recognize what is the cultural gap between New Zealand and Korea to better business opportunity or relationship between Korea and New Zealand. At first, when I introduced myself, I'm Trade Commissioner from Korea, then someone asked me, oh, from Korea, north or south? I'm sure nobody here like that, but still do. Some Kiwi businessmen ask me to north or south, so it's sometimes embarrass me. But likewise, the other side also same. So some people in Korea ask me, what else in New Zealand other than sheep or hobbit? So it also embarrassed me very much. So I try to explain this kind of gap between the two countries. And Korean manufacturers, they think they are number 2 in Asia after Japan. But when I meet Kiwi business people, they think all Asian countries same except Japan or China. So this is kind of a big gap between two countries. So I wanna explain about this also. And in terms of the minimum order quantity, so the will happen every day. So they speak same language. Okay, so let's talk about the minimum order quantity. But in their mind, different size. So from Korean manufacturer, their minimum order quantities, they count as a container base. But Kiwi businessmen think that a little smaller than that. So sometimes there's a cotton box space. So when they find out, they embarrass each other. So I want to explain this also. And this is also you have to know when you deal with Korea. Korea, the decision maker is mostly the boss, takes charge. So especially small and medium-sized company, mostly boss make the decision. But in Kiwi business, mostly the boss cannot make decision without the permission from the person who is in charge. So this is a big difference because Korea side keep asking, where is the boss? Where is the CEO? But in Kiwi side, you should talking to me. I'm the person in charge. So this is a kind of a stereotype idea between two countries. And also, Korea business, they do take action with a small possibility. They are kind of a risk takers. But when I meet Kiwi business here, they have a long process to clear out all the risks and then check all the process until they sure that it's safe and okay. So when they have a meeting and then they go back to their country, Korean people keep saying, keep pushing, make a result, but TV side, please take your time, please wait. So I found some kind of time gap between the two businesses. And when we survey the foreigners in Korea, what is the word you remember Korean? It's 빨리빨리. Yeah, 빨리빨리. Someone knows the 빨리빨리 already here. 빨리빨리 means hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. As you said before, we are the most working our country. So it's kind of connected. So we work very much time, and we always want to be hurry up, speed up. But so when they call to New Zealand, but sometimes they are on vacation, so we close our office. So they, so is it really existing company or not? So they ask me something like that. So they have to understand each other this time things. So these are the typical gaps and cultural gaps and stereotypes between two countries. And so now I want to move on to the opportunity between two countries. So first, Kiwi business can cost save with the qualified suppliers. This is a typical example that the left side, we have Korea Pavilion this year in few days in Hamilton. And we have similar product, but the price is 1/3. The European is 3 times expensive than the Korean one. And also right side is one dairy company, they're using the Korean tin can because they can secure the quality competitive price with the good quality, the Korean tin can. And also Korea and New Zealand, we located at the different hemisphere. So we can utilize in counter season. As you know, the Kiwi, the farm just breed, they invest in Korea. And this photo is, they export to Singapore with grow in Korean Jespre farm. And the other side, in Korean summertime, many famous actors visited New Zealand to make a commercial for the winter time because New Zealand has snow in here in Korea summertime. So these are typical cooperation we can utilize together. And also I'm very much impressed that the Kiwi people, they have a DIY DNA and very creative, very innovative people. So. But Korea, as you know, we have a huge manufacturing facility, so we are pursuing the very much high efficiency. So I think if we combine together, we can make a good performance in the other side of the world. So this is a typical example that Samsung invested power by proxy. This is a University of Auckland startup. There's a wireless charging system. So now they utilize the product of the Galaxy X6, so you can experience the technology now. And also utilizing the 100% pure New Zealand images. You know, the Echo Store is a kind of a new brand in New Zealand, famous, and they penetrate the Korean picky moms who care about their kids because they care about very much about the sensitiveness and the cleanness of the things. So they just launched their brand this year, but they're quite successful already. And the right side, this is oat milk. They have really high volume size, and they pretty much good business in the premium dairy market. So these are the how we can develop our business relation. Lastly, I want to introduce a little bit about organization. We are the equivalent role of the NZTE in New Zealand, and our KOTRA Auckland office was here since 1973. Wow. So, but you don't know about we are around here more than 42 years. So, after that, we hope to contact us anytime, anywhere, if you have some kind of inquiry regarding Korea. And this is my presentation. I want to invite my colleague Charles Costello, and he has detail about how we can support and what is the service. Thank you.